In a world where people are often judged by their jobs, one billionaire CEO learns a life-changing lesson in the most unexpected way. When he pretends to be asleep to spy on his janitor, he hears something that shakes his soul. The sound of a guitar played with such beauty that it brings tears to his eyes. What happens next will prove that true talent and passion can be found in the most humble places. The camera pans across a stunning city skyline, a sea of glittering lights reflected in glass towers. At the very top of the tallest building stands the Maxwell Tower, home to one of the most powerful corporations in the country. Inside, the office of Ethan Maxwell, the billionaire CEO, is immaculate. Minimalist furniture, expensive art, and a wall-sized window overlooking the sleeping city below. Ethan, in his early 40s, sits behind a massive mahogany desk. His tailored suit looks perfect, but his eyes are tired, the kind of exhaustion that comes from too much success and too little joy. Stacks of reports, glowing monitors, and a half-finished cup of black coffee surround him. He scrolls through numbers on a tablet, his face expressionless, his mind calculating. Ethan, muttering to himself, coldly. Profits up by 7%, boards happy, stocks stable, pauses, sighs, and yet it still feels empty. He leans back in his chair, staring out the window at the endless city lights. Ethan, softly, almost to himself, everyone wants something. Investors want results, employees want raises, but whoever asks, "If I'm happy?" He chuckles bitterly, shaking his head. The intercom buzzes. Lucas, his assistant, speaks through it. Lucas, VO. "Sir, everyone's gone for the night. Do you need anything before I leave?" Ethan. "No, Lucas. You go ahead. I'll finish a few reports." Lucas, VO. "Of course, sir. Good night." The office falls silent again. The only sounds are the hum of the city and the faint tick of a designer clock. Ethan glances around the empty floor beyond his glass walls. Cubicles dark, halls empty, floors gleaming. Then, a soft sound drifts through the stillness. A hum, a gentle, wordless melody. Faint, almost like a lullaby. Ethan freezes. He tilts his head, listening. Ethan, whispering. "What on earth?" He stands, moving quietly toward the door. Outside, down the hallway, a janitor in a grey uniform moves methodically, mopping the marble floor, humming to herself. Her name tag reads Clara. Her face is soft and kind, her eyes tired but peaceful. She works with a quiet grace, as though her every movement carries purpose. Ethan watches from the shadows, arms folded. Ethan, to himself, "She's always here at night, quiet, efficient, never complains, scoffs slightly. Probably doesn't even know what the company does. But her humming, it continues. The notes are delicate, soulful. There's something pure about it. Something unpolished yet beautiful." Ethan frowns, conflicted. He's used to symphonies, private concerts, polished performances, but this is different. He returns to his office, yet the melody follows him. Soft, persistent, haunting. In Ethan's office. Later hours pass. Ethan sits by the window, the city lights reflected in his glass of whiskey. The hum from the hallway fades into silence. For the first time in years, he feels lonely, not because he sits alone, but because he realizes he has no one to share his world with. He picks up a photo frame on his desk, an old picture of a smiling woman holding a guitar. His mother. Ethan, softly, "You used to sing that same tune, didn't you, Mom?" A pause, voice cracks slightly. "You always said, 'Music is the soul speaking when words fail.'" He sets the photo down carefully. His eyes harden again, the mask of a CEO returning. "Ethan, maybe tomorrow I'll see what my employees are really doing after hours." He leans back in his chair, turning off the desk lamp. The office falls into darkness, save for the moonlight pouring through the glass. The hum returns faintly from the corridor. now joined by the sound of soft footsteps and the distant click of a guitar case. Ethan's expression changes, curiosity flickering beneath his stoic face. Ethan, to himself, a janitor with a guitar, smirks slightly. Now this could be interesting. The camera zooms in on his face as he slowly closes his eyes, pretending to fall asleep, his mind already plotting what he'll discover next. The screen fades to black as the faint pluck of a guitar string echoes through the hallway. A single trembling note that promises something extraordinary is about to unfold. The camera opens on the same grand office, but tonight it feels different, quieter, darker. The glow from Ethan's computer screen casts long shadows across the marble floor. Ethan sits behind his desk, but he isn't working. He's waiting. A sleek wristwatch ticks softly. The building has emptied again. No chatter, no ringing phones, no movement, only the rhythmic hum of the air conditioning and the distant sound of footsteps echoing down the hall. He glances at the door, his expression unreadable. Ethan, thinking. Same time as last night. He reaches over, clicks off the desk lamp, and sits back, pretending to type while keeping one ear tuned to the hallway. Then it begins again. A faint sound. A voice. A melody floating like mist through the air vents. Tender, warm, familiar. Ethan's hand freezes above the keyboard. He leans back slowly, the light from his monitor reflecting off his eyes. Ethan, softly. She's singing again. The melody grows clearer. This time he hears actual words. When dreams fall quiet, I'll play my song alone and hope the night remembers my tone. Ethan's breath catches slightly. There's sadness in her voice, the kind that can't be faked. He stands walking quietly toward the glass door, peering through the half-open blinds. Down the corridor, Clara, the janitor, is working, mopping in rhythm with the tune she hums. Her hair is tied back loosely, a few strands falling across her face as she sways gently to her own music. Then, as she finishes a section of the hall, she sets the mop aside. From her battered canvas bag, she pulls out an old acoustic guitar, its varnish faded, the neck worn smooth from years of playing. Ethan blinks, startled. Ethan, whispering, "A janitor with a guitar." He chuckles quietly to himself, shaking his head. Ethan, what is she doing? Auditioning for her mop. But curiosity wins. He steps back into his office and lowers the blinds slightly, leaving a narrow slit open. He walks to the couch, the one near the window where he often naps during long nights, and lies down. He adjusts his posture carefully, closes his eyes, and lets out a faint, deliberate sigh. Ethan, thinking, let's see what she does when she thinks no one's watching. He places his arm over his eyes, feigning sleep, though his mind is alert. Int, office hallway, continuous. Clara sits cross-legged on the clean marble floor near a large window overlooking the city. The skyline glows behind her, tiny dots of light flickering like distant stars. She tunes the guitar gently, her movements slow and practiced. Then she begins to play. A delicate arpeggio fills the hallway, soft, pure, resonant. Her fingers move with confidence, her body relaxed, her eyes half closed. Her voice rises, gentle but full of life. When the world forgets your name, you still can sing. When no one's left to clap or cheer, let the heart's echo ring. Inside his office, Ethan's breath catches. He can hear every note, every tremor in her voice, and something inside him stirs. The sound is honest. It doesn't try to impress. It simply exists. Int, Ethan's office. Continuous. He lies perfectly still, eyes closed, pretending to sleep. But his hand clenches slightly on his chest. Ethan, thinking, how long? Has she been playing like that? His mind drifts to his mother again, her soft laughter, the song she'd hum while folding laundry, the way she'd say, Music, Ethan, is what the soul sounds like when it remembers it's alive. He swallows hard, his jaw tightening. The song outside builds, her voice gaining strength, the guitar strings vibrating with feeling. Then it softens again, fragile, heartfelt, beautiful. Ethan's eyes flicker beneath his eyelids. A single tear threatens to escape, but he turns his face toward the back of the couch to hide it. Int. Office. Hallway. Moments later, Clara finishes her song, strumming one last shimmering chord. She exhales slowly, smiling faintly to herself. Then she whispers, "Clara," softly. "One day, Mom. One day, someone will hear me play for real." She gently sets her guitar down, wipes her eyes, and resumes mopping the floor as if nothing happened. The echo of her song lingers in the air, a haunting reminder of dreams deferred but never forgotten. Ethan opens his eyes slowly. For a long moment he says nothing. The city hums softly below, indifferent to what just happened above it. Then he whispers, "Ethan," quietly to himself. She wasn't just playing music. She was telling a story. He sits up, running a hand through his hair, shaken but thoughtful. Ethan, a janitor who plays like that, and no one knows. He stands by the window, looking out over the vast city, the world he thought he understood. Ethan, softly, "Maybe I've been looking for talent in the wrong places." He glances toward the hallway, where the faint sound of the mop bucket wheels fades into the distance. "Ethan, tomorrow, I'll talk to her." He looks back at his mother's photograph on his desk, her smiling face frozen in time. "Ethan, you'd have loved her song, Mom." The camera pans up, showing Ethan standing in front of the vast window, his reflection shimmering against the night skyline. As the city lights flicker outside, the faint echo of Clara's guitar continues, a soft, ethereal melody that bridges two very different lives about to collide in the most unexpected way. The camera opens on the skyline, shimmering in moonlight, reflections dancing across the glass walls of Ethan Maxwell's office. The building is empty again, quiet, peaceful, almost sacred. But inside the office, something is different tonight. Ethan isn't working, he isn't calculating, he's waiting. A quiet determination glows in his eyes. The photo of his mother with her guitar sits at the corner of his desk, a silent reminder of a past melody he thought he had forgotten. He looks at his watch. It's 10:43 p.m. He knows her routine by now. She'll be on the 40th floor any minute. He dimly switches off the overhead lights, leaving only the soft golden glow of a desk lamp and the silver wash of city light spilling through the window. He reclines on the couch, his posture relaxed, his breathing deep and even. Once again, he pretends to sleep. The elevator opens with a faint ding. Clara steps out, her cleaning cart rolling softly beside her. She hums quietly, a tune that only the night knows. Her eyes are gentle, her shoulders slightly tired, but there's something peaceful about her. She checks her list, wipes the glass doors, and then, seeing the light still on in the CEO's office, hesitates. "Clara," softly to herself, "He's still here again? Maybe he's asleep like last time." She smiles faintly, whispering, "He works too hard for someone who already has everything." She wheels her cart quietly down the hall, careful not to wake him. Then she notices the moonlight pooling by the window, an open space where she can see the city stretch endlessly below. She pauses, looks around and whispers, "Clara, just one song, just one." She reaches into her old canvas bag and pulls out her battered guitar, its surface scratched and faded, but still full of life. She sits near the window, the mop and bucket beside her like silent audience members. From the couch, Ethan's eyes are closed, but his hearing sharpens. He recognizes the faint click of her guitar case. His heart beats faster. Ethan, thinking, there it is again, the sound, that same sound. Then, silence, followed by the first trembling strum. A single note, clear as a bell, breaks the quiet. Then another. Then a melody, soft, flowing, effortless. Her music fills the entire floor like sunlight spilling into darkness. Clara begins to play, her fingers moving with precision and tenderness. The melody is gentle and soulful, rising and falling like waves. Then she begins to sing. They said dreams were made for others, not for hands that sweep the floor. But I found music in the dust and hope behind each door. Her voice is fragile, but real. Each word carries a lifetime of quiet endurance. Tears glisten in her eyes, though she smiles as she plays, lost in the song, free for the first time in years. Ethan's breathing slows. He listens, utterly still. He isn't thinking like a CEO anymore. He isn't judging or analyzing. He's feeling. The sound pulls memories from deep within. His mother's soft voice, her laughter, her old wooden guitar. For the first time in decades, Ethan feels something break open inside him. A raw, unguarded emotion he'd buried long ago beneath money and ambition. A tear escapes, tracing down his cheek. He wipes it away quickly, but more follow. He whispers to himself, Ethan, whispering, How can someone play with so much soul? He turns his head slightly, peeking through the narrow slit of the blinds, and there she is, sitting cross-legged on the marble floor, head bowed, eyes closed, her fingers dancing across the strings like they were born for it. The city lights frame her silhouette, a humble janitor shining like a performer on the grandest stage. Ethan watches in awe, captivated. Ethan, softly, awestruck. She's not just good, she's extraordinary. Clara's song shifts into a brighter melody, tender and full of hope. Her voice wavers, emotional but steady. Maybe no one's listening, maybe no one cares. But I'll keep singing softly to the empty chairs. Someday the world will hear, someday they'll understand that even a janitor can make the night feel grand. As the final chord fades, silence fills the hallway again. But it's not empty silence. It's sacred, complete. Clara exhales slowly, eyes shining with quiet satisfaction. Clara, softly, that one was for you, Mom. She smiles faintly, brushing away a tear, then gently places the guitar back in its case. Ethan sits up slowly, staring at the closed blinds. He can still hear the echo of her final chord in his mind, as if it S carved into his soul. He whispers, Ethan, to himself. All these years, surrounded by artists, investors, professionals, and the truest artist was right outside my door. He walks to the window, looking out at the glowing city below, his reflection faint in the glass. Ethan, how many more have I overlooked because I only saw their titles? He glances back toward the hallway, hearing the faint squeak of the mop bucket wheels as Clara resumes her work. Ethan, softly, tomorrow she'll know I was listening. He turns off the desk lamp, letting the moonlight bathe the room in silver. As the camera pulls back, the haunting echo of Clara's song returns. A melody that now connects two hearts from completely different worlds. The city sun rises over the skyline, spilling gold across the glass walls of Maxwell Tower. The once empty halls buzz again with life. Assistants rushing, phones ringing, executives greeting each other with forced smiles and expensive coffee cups in hand. But inside the CEO's office, Ethan Maxwell sits quietly behind his desk, staring at the same coffee he hasn't touched in an hour. He isn't his usual composed self. There's a heaviness in his chest, not from stress but from realization. On his desk lies something unexpected, a simple envelope. No seal, no company logo, just his name, handwritten in delicate cursive. He opens it. Inside is a small note. Dear Mr. Maxwell, thank you for letting me work here quietly at night. The halls are peaceful when everyone else gone. They let me remember who I used to be. Please forgive me if my music disturbed you. Clara. He stares at the note for a long time, his jaw tightening, his throat dry. Ethan, softly. She thought she disturbed me. He presses the intercom button. Ethan. Lucas, can you ask the janitorial supervisor to send Clara from night shift up here this morning? Tell her I'd like to speak to her personally. Lucas, VO. The janitor, sir? Are you sure? Ethan, firmly but gently. Yes, Lucas. Her name's Clara. Now please. Clara stands beside her cleaning cart, clutching her worn-out gloves nervously. Her supervisor gives her an uncertain look. Supervisor, you sure you didn't break anything up there, Clara? CEOs don't usually call the cleaning staff to their office. Clara, uneasy smile. I don't know, sir. Maybe I missed a spot. She smooths her uniform, tucks a loose strand of hair behind her ear, and takes a deep breath before stepping into the elevator. The door opens gently. Clara steps in, her hands clasped in front of her. Clara, softly. You wanted to see me, Mr. Maxwell. Ethan looks up from his desk. His expression is calm, but his eyes carry warmth for the first time. He gestures to the chair across from him. Ethan, please have a seat. She hesitates. Clara, sir, I can stand. I don't want to take too much of your... Ethan, smiling faintly. Clara, sit. Please. A brief silence follows. The sound of the city faintly hums through the windows. Ethan studies her face, gentle, humble, unaware of the gift she carries. Ethan, Clara, do you play that guitar every night? Her eyes widen in panic. Clara, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't mean to disturb anyone. I just play when I finish my shift. The floors are quiet and, well, it helps me forget things. Ethan, softly, forget things? She looks down at her hands. Clara, I used to be a music student. My mother was a singer. She taught me everything I know, but after she passed, I couldn't afford college. I had a little brother to raise, so I took whatever job I could find. Her voice trembles slightly, but she forces a smile. Clara continued, I never thought anyone would hear me again. That was supposed to be my secret. Ethan leans forward, resting his elbows on the desk. Ethan, gently, I heard you, Clara. 3 nights in a row. She freezes, eyes wide. Clara, you were awake? He nods slowly. Ethan, at first I was just curious. I thought maybe someone was wasting time on my clock. But when you played, he pauses, searching for words. I felt something I haven't felt in years. She looks at him, confused. Ethan, quietly. Your music reminded me of my mother. She used to sing while she worked too. She'd say, music is the only honest language left in this world. His voice softens, thick with emotion. I thought I'd forgotten how it felt to just listen. Clara's eyes fill with tears, though she tries to blink them away. Clara, I don't know what to say, sir. I didn't mean to... Ethan, interrupting softly. Don't apologize. You gave me something money can't buy. He leans back, smiling faintly. For once, not as a CEO, but as a human being. Ethan, after a pause. Clara, have you ever performed in front of an audience? She laughs nervously. Clara, an audience? No, sir, unless you count the mop and bucket. They're good listeners. Ethan chuckles softly, the first genuine laugh he's had in months. Ethan, then it's time that changed. Clara blinks, startled. Clara, what do you mean? Ethan, next week Maxwell Corporation is hosting its annual charity gala. The entire board will be there. I want you to play. She stares at him, stunned, her mouth slightly open. Clara, sir, I'm just a janitor. I can't. Ethan, firmly but kind. No, Clara, you're not just a janitor. You're an artist who's been working in silence, and I intend to make sure the world hears you. Clara sits frozen, overwhelmed. Tears spill down her cheeks as she tries to process his words. Clara, whispering, "No one's ever said that to me before." Ethan, smiling, "Then let me be the first." He stands, extending his hand to her. "Ethan, you've already played for one audience. Now it's time to play for everyone else." She hesitates, then takes his hand, small, trembling but full of gratitude. "Clara," softly, "Thank you. Mr. Maxwell." Ethan, "No, thank you, Clara, for reminding me that talent doesn't wear a title." They share a brief, heartfelt silence. As Clara leaves the office, the door closes gently behind her. Ethan watches her go, a faint smile tugging at his lips. He glances once more at his mother's photo on the desk. Ethan, whispering, "I think you'd be proud of her, Mom." The sunlight floods the office, illuminating the guitar strings in the frame as if the universe itself approves. The camera opens with a close-up of Clara's trembling hands as she tunes her old, scarred acoustic guitar. The strings are worn, the wood faded, yet in her eyes it is the most precious thing she owns. The hall is enormous. Gold chandeliers hang like frozen stars. Technicians move back and forth, setting up lights and audio equipment. At the far end, Ethan Maxwell watches quietly, arms folded, dressed in a crisp black suit. But unlike before, there's a softness to him now, a calm pride that replaces the usual corporate detachment. Clara strums a few uncertain notes, her voice barely a whisper. Clara, nervously, "Maybe this was a mistake, sir. I don't belong here." Ethan, gently, "Clara, do you remember what you told me that first day?" She shakes her head. Ethan, "You said music helped you forget. Well, tonight, let it help you remember who you are and what you're capable of." She looks up, her eyes glistening, the words sinking in. Clara, "But what if I fail?" Ethan steps closer, his tone firm but kind. Ethan, "Failure isn't when you fall, Clara. It's when you stop playing before the song is over." A beat. Clara smiles faintly, renewed strength flickering in her eyes. A grand ballroom glows with luxury. The city's elite, investors, politicians, celebrities, chatter beneath crystal chandeliers. Laughter, clinking glasses, the flash of cameras. It's a night of wealth and prestige. A large banner reads, "Maxwell Foundation Annual Charity Gala, Empowering Dreams." Ethan steps onto the stage as the applause settles. Ethan, into microphone, "Good evening, everyone. Tonight we here not just to raise funds, but to remind ourselves what truly builds a legacy. People." The audience murmurs approvingly. Ethan, continuing, "Before dinner is served, I'd like to introduce someone who reminded me that talent doesn't always wear a suit or sit behind a desk. Sometimes it holds a mop and still finds a way to make the world brighter." The crowd looks confused, curious. Ethan, smiling, "Please welcome Clara." A hush falls over the hall. Clara steps onto the stage wearing a simple white dress that Ethan had arranged for her, elegant, modest, glowing under the lights. She clutches her old guitar close, visibly trembling. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Guest number one, whispering, "Is that the janitor?" Guest number two, scoffs, "This should be interesting." Clara hears them, but takes a deep breath. She glances toward Ethan, standing off stage. He gives a slow, encouraging nod. Clara closes her eyes, her fingers poised over the strings. Then she begins to play. The first notes are soft, hesitant, like a memory returning. Then the melody blooms, a fusion of folk and classical, raw and pure, every note a story, every chord a confession. The camera moves through the audience, jaws slack, eyes glistening. The murmurs fade to silence. It's not just music. It's pain, hope, love, everything Clara has ever lived through poured into sound. Her voice joins the melody, smooth, fragile, yet powerful. In the quiet halls, I find my song. In the dark, I still belong. The world forgot, but I remain, a heart unbroken through the pain. Ethan stands motionless, eyes glistening, remembering his mother humming a similar tune years ago. Clara's song swells into a soaring finale, the guitar strings trembling like heartbeats, and when the final chord fades, the room remains silent for a single sacred moment. Then, an eruption of applause. The elite crowd, once skeptical, rises to their feet. Cheers, tears, and admiration fill the hall. Clara lowers her guitar, stunned. She blinks at the standing ovation, overwhelmed. Ethan steps back onto the stage, smiling. He takes her hand and raises it high. Ethan, proudly, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Clara, not a janitor, a musician, a reminder that greatness can come from anywhere, if someone's willing to listen." The crowd roars again. Flashbulbs explode as photographers rush forward. Clara's face lights up, radiant, tearful, joyous. She glances at Ethan, whispering softly, "Clara, you did this for me." Ethan, smiling, "No, Clara, you did this for yourself. I just happened to be awake enough to hear it." They share a quiet laugh as applause continues. As the crowd mingles, a well-dressed music producer approaches Clara. "Producer, Miss, that performance was extraordinary. Have you ever recorded before?" Clara's eyes widen. "Clara, me? No, sir, never." Producer, grinning. "Well, how would you like your first record deal?" She gasps, covering her mouth, overwhelmed by emotion. Ethan watches from across the room, smiling, quietly proud. He raises a glass in her direction as their eyes meet. She smiles back, the kind of smile that says, "Thank you for believing in me." Ethan stands at his window again, the city glowing beneath him. But now his face isn't tired, it's alive. On his desk sits a framed photograph, a candid shot from the gala, Clara playing her guitar, bathed in light. Lucas enters, holding a newspaper. "Lucas, morning, sir. You might want to see this." The front page reads, "Janitor stuns billionaires with breathtaking performance, discovered by CEO who believed in her." Ethan smiles faintly, looking out the window. Ethan, softly, "Sometimes the best investments are the ones that don't show up on a balance sheet." The camera pans out as his reflection merges with the sunrise, symbolizing a man reborn, not through wealth, but through humanity. Until Radio Studio, 1 year later. Soft music fills the air, Clara's voice calm and rich, singing over the radio waves. "In the silence, I found my name. In the struggle, I found my flame. No gold could buy the dream I own, for in my song, I'm never alone." The camera pans to reveal Clara, now dressed in a flowing blue dress, sitting before a microphone. Her guitar, once old and worn, has been lovingly restored, gleaming, yet still bearing its original scars. Across from her sits a radio host, smiling warmly. "Host, and that was Never Alone," the debut single by the incredible Clara Hayes, a song that's already topping charts worldwide. "Clara, tell us, this all started in a corporate building, didn't it?" Clara laughs softly, eyes full of memory. "Clara, yes. I used to be a janitor at Maxwell Corporation. I'd clean the halls at night and play my guitar to keep myself company. I never imagined anyone would hear me, host, until a billionaire CEO pretended to be asleep." She smiles, eyes glistening. "Clara, yes. Until Ethan Maxwell heard my music. He didn't just give me an opportunity, he gave me back my dream." A pause. Her voice thickens with emotion. Clara continued, "He reminded me that sometimes the right listener can change your life forever." The host nods gently, visibly moved. "Host, and I heard you've started something of your own, a foundation." Clara, "Yes, the Maxwell Music Foundation. It's for underprivileged kids who love music but can't afford lessons or instruments. We've already opened 3 schools this year." Her eyes soften, looking upward as if speaking to someone unseen. Clara, quietly. It's what he would have wanted. The camera enters the same office where it all began, but everything has changed. A framed photo of Ethan Maxwell sits on the desk beside a vase of white lilies. The blinds are half open, sunlight streaming in. Warm, peaceful. Clara stands there alone, holding her guitar case. She sets it down gently and touches the photo. Clara, softly. You said music was the soul speaking when words fail. And I think you were right. She smiles through tears. Clara continued, because even though you're gone, your kindness still plays in every note. She steps to the window, gazing out over the city, the same skyline Ethan once stared at in emptiness. But now it feels alive. A group of children sits in a classroom, each holding a guitar with the Maxwell Foundation logo. Clara kneels beside a shy boy, guiding his fingers on the frets. A plaque on a music school reads, "The Ethan Maxwell Academy for Arts and Hope." News headlines flash. From janitor to star, Clara Hayes inspires millions. CEO's act of kindness builds new generation of musicians. Clara performs on a massive stage, lights glowing, thousands of people singing along. Yet she still holds that same old guitar, her connection to her roots. Between the flashing lights, the camera cuts briefly to Ethan's old photo on her dressing room mirror, a quiet reminder of where it all began. After her final encore, Clara walks off stage into the quiet backstage area. She exhales deeply, smiling, still overwhelmed by the applause. A stagehand rushes up. Stagehand, "Miss Hayes, someone left this for you." He hands her a small envelope, old and creased. She opens it. Inside is a short, handwritten note. Ethan's handwriting. Clara never stopped playing, even when the world stops listening, because music isn't just sound, it's proof that you're still alive. E.M. Clara presses the note to her chest, tears falling freely now. Clara whispering, "I never stopped, Ethan. I never will." The camera rises above the glittering skyline, where the Maxwell Tower now shines with a glowing logo of intertwined initials, M&H, for Maxwell and Hayes Foundation. Clara's voice echoes over the city lights. Kindness is a melody that never fades. All it needs is someone willing to listen. The screen fades to black, inspired by the power of compassion and belief. Never underestimate the music within someone's heart.